What happens when the man you trust most destroys you in front of everyone you love? What if the nightmare that breaks you is actually the beginning of your greatest strength? Emma Carter stood in the center of the decorated backyard, watching fairy lights twinkle above her head and feeling her baby kick inside her belly. She was 8 months pregnant, glowing in a soft pink dress that Ryan had picked out for her just yesterday. He said she looked beautiful. He said everything was perfect. The gathering was supposed to celebrate their upcoming wedding in 6 weeks. Family members laughed around tables covered in white linen. Her best friend Sarah helped arrange the flower centerpieces. Ryan's parents sat near the makeshift stage, looking proud and happy. Everything felt warm and safe, and exactly like the future Emma had dreamed about since she was a little girl. But then Ryan walked onto the small stage and grabbed the microphone. Emma smiled, thinking he was about to make a sweet toast about their love story, about becoming parents, about building a life together. Her hand rested on her belly protectively, feeling Lucas move beneath her palm. She didn't know his name would be Lucas yet, but somehow her heart already did. Ryan's voice came through the speakers clear and cold. "I need to say something important," he announced. The crowd quieted down. Faces turned toward him expectantly. Emma felt her smile freeze on her face. Something in his tone felt wrong. Sharp, distant. Not the man who had held her last night, whispering promises about forever. "I can't do this anymore," Ryan said flatly. "This engagement, this whole setup, I'm done." The words didn't make sense at first. Emma blinked, confused. Her brain refused to process what her ears were hearing. People around her went silent. Forks stopped midair. Conversations died. Someone gasped. "Emma trapped me," Ryan continued, his eyes finally meeting hers across the crowd. "She got pregnant on purpose, and I let myself get cornered. But I'm not doing this. I'm not marrying someone I don't love." Emma's knees went weak. Her vision blurred at the edges. She felt every eye in the backyard turn toward her, watching her humiliation, watching her world collapse in real time. Her baby kicked hard as if sensing her panic. Then Ryan delivered the final blow. "And honestly," he said with a cruel smile, "I'm not even sure that baby is mine." The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. Emma tried to breathe, but her chest felt tight. Her hands trembled as she reached for the nearby table to steady herself. This couldn't be real. This had to be some terrible nightmare. Ryan stepped off the stage and walked directly toward Chloe Hart. Chloe had always made Emma uncomfortable. She worked with, Ryan claimed they were just colleagues, but Emma noticed how Chloe touched his arm, how she laughed too loud at his jokes, how she always seemed to be around. Now Chloe stood near the back exit, wearing a tight red dress and a smile that looked like victory. Ryan took Chloe's hand right there in front of everyone. "Let's go," he said to her. Emma felt something break inside her chest, something sharp and painful that stole her breath completely. She tried to call his name, tried to ask why, but no sound came out. Her vision went dark around the edges. Her body felt too heavy suddenly, like gravity had doubled. The last thing she saw before everything went black was Chloe's smile widening. Then Emma collapsed onto the grass and the screaming started. What if the worst moment of your life was actually hiding something even darker? What happens when you realize the betrayal wasn't just emotional, but calculated? Emma woke up to the steady beeping of hospital machines and the smell of antiseptic. Her hand immediately went to her belly, feeling for movement. Her baby kicked back strong and alive, and she released a breath she didn't know she was holding. "Lucas is fine," a calm female voice said. Emma turned her head to see a woman in a white coat standing beside her bed. Dr. Ava Brooks, according to her name tag. She had kind eyes, but they held something else too. Concern that went beyond standard medical care. "Your baby is healthy," Dr. Brooks continued, "but your blood pressure was dangerously high. You experienced a severe stress response, Emma. I need you to understand how serious this is. Emma nodded, but tears were already streaming down her face. Everything came flooding back. The party, Ryan's announcement, the public humiliation, Chloe's triumphant smile, the way everyone had stared at her like she was pathetic, like she deserved what happened. "Where is he?" Emma whispered. "Your fiancé hasn't come," Dr. Brooks said gently, "but your friend Sarah has been here all night. She's getting coffee now." Of course Ryan hadn't come. He'd made his choice in front of 50 people. He walked away with Chloe without looking back. Emma was nothing to him now, just an inconvenience he'd publicly discarded. Sarah rushed in moments later, her eyes red from crying. She grabbed Emma's hand and held it tight. "I'm so sorry," Sarah whispered. "I had no idea he was planning that. None of us did." Emma wanted to speak, wanted to ask why Ryan would do something so cruel, but her throat felt tight. Dr. Brooks checked her monitors, then quietly stepped out, giving them privacy. For 2 days, Emma stayed in the hospital under observation. Her body slowly stabilized, but her mind raced endlessly. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Ryan's cold expression, heard his words accusing her of trapping him, questioning whether Lucas was even his. How could someone change so completely? How could the man who proposed to her 6 months ago, who decorated a nursery with her, who kissed her belly every night, suddenly become a stranger capable of such cruelty? On the third morning, Sarah brought Emma's phone and laptop from home. "You had some weird emails," Sarah said hesitantly, "and your bank sent alerts. I thought you should see them." Emma opened her email with shaking hands. What she found made her blood run cold. There were password reset notifications for accounts she didn't recognize, access confirmations for financial documents she'd never opened, a scanned copy of her signature on paperwork she didn't remember signing. Her bank account showed a pending large transfer authorization. Emma stared at the amount, $20,000, set to move to an account she'd never seen before in 3 days. "I didn't authorize this," Emma said, her voice stronger now. She opened another email, this one from a property management company, congratulating her on transferring ownership of her grandmother's rental property. The property her grandmother had left specifically to Emma in her will. The property worth over $300,000. Emma's hands started shaking, but not from weakness, from rage. She clicked through more emails, finding a trail she'd somehow missed while planning a wedding, while being pregnant, while trusting the wrong person. There were documents with her signature, half-deleted text messages in her cloud backup, references to meetings she'd never attended. Then she found it, a message thread Ryan had accidentally left in a shared folder. She signed the property transfer. Ryan had written to someone, "Once the bank authorization clears were set, Derek is handling the trust paperwork." Derek Vaughn, Ryan's business partner, the charming man who'd helped them with wedding planning, who'd brought documents for Emma to sign while she was distracted and tired and trusting. Emma scrolled further, messages between Ryan and Chloe. "The breakup needs to be public." Chloe had written, "She needs to be too devastated to think clearly until everything processes." Ryan's response made Emma's stomach turn. "The pregnancy actually helps. She'll be emotional and weak. Perfect timing." Part 3. What happens when you discover the person you loved was actually your enemy all along? What if playing weak becomes your greatest weapon? Emma sat frozen in her hospital bed, staring at the messages that proved everything. The betrayal wasn't spontaneous or emotional. It was planned, calculated. Ryan, Chloe, and Derek had been working together for months, maybe longer. They weren't just having an affair, they were stealing from her. The public humiliation at the party wasn't Ryan's breaking point. It was strategy. They needed her confused, devastated, and isolated so she wouldn't notice the final documents clearing. They needed everyone to see her as the desperate, pregnant woman who'd been dumped so no one would take her seriously if she tried to fight back. Emma's first instinct was to scream to call Ryan and demand answers, to post everything online and expose them immediately. But then she stopped. Dr. Brooks had mentioned something during morning rounds about how abusers rely on their victims reacting emotionally on them being too hurt to think strategically. Emma had brushed it off then, but now the words echoed differently. If Emma exploded now, Ryan and Derek would know she'd discovered their plan. They'd cover their tracks, disappear the evidence, claim she was making things up because she was bitter about the breakup. They'd already planted the narrative that she was unstable, that she'd trapped Ryan, that she couldn't be trusted. Emma needed to be smarter. She closed her laptop and took a slow breath. Her baby kicked, and she placed her hand over the movement Lucas. Her son deserved better than a mother who fell apart. He deserved a mother who fought back intelligently. "Sarah," Emma said quietly, "I need you to do something for me, and you can't ask questions yet." Sarah looked worried, but nodded. "Find me a lawyer," Emma continued. "Someone good, someone who handles fraud and family law, someone who isn't connected to Ryan or his family at all." Sarah's eyes widened. "Emma, what's going on?" "I'll explain everything soon," Emma promised. "But right now, I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" Sarah squeezed her hand. "Always." That afternoon, Sarah returned with a business card. Noah Reed, attorney at law, specializing in financial fraud and family protection. "He's Ryan's former best friend from college," Sarah admitted. "They had a falling out 2 years ago. Nobody really knows why, but he's supposed to be brilliant, and he agreed to come talk to you today." Emma's heart raced. A former friend might have insight into how Ryan thinks. Or he might warn Ryan that Emma was planning something. It was a risk. But when Noah Reed walked into her hospital room an hour later, Emma felt something shift. He was tall, with dark hair and calm gray eyes that seemed to assess everything without judgment. He didn't look at her with pity the way everyone else had. He looked at her like she was a person capable of making decisions. "Sarah said you needed help," Noah said simply. Emma made a choice. She told him everything. The emails, the bank transfers, the property documents, the messages between Ryan, Chloe, and Derek. The timeline of the public breakup designed to keep her too devastated to notice she was being robbed. Noah listened without interrupting. His expression never changed, but his jaw tightened slightly when she showed him the messages. "This is wire fraud," Noah said finally, "and conspiracy, possibly elder abuse, depending on how they accessed your grandmother's estate documents. How far do you want to take this?" "All the way," Emma said. Her voice didn't shake. "But I need to do it right. I can't let them know I'm coming." Noah studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "Then here's what we do," he said. "You play exactly the role they expect. You act heartbroken and confused. You agree to meet with Ryan if he reaches out. You sign nothing, but you don't refuse loudly. You let them think they've won." "While you do what?" Emma asked. "I file an emergency legal hold on all your accounts and assets," Noah explained. "I trigger a quiet audit of the transactions. I gather evidence, and I build a case that they can't escape from. And when they're comfortable, when they think you're broken, that's when we move." Emma felt something she hadn't felt since collapsing at that party. Power. "One more thing," Noah added. "Ryan will reach out soon, probably in the next few days. He'll want to talk privately. He'll act concerned about the baby, maybe even apologetic. He needs you calm and compliant until the last transfer clears." "How do you know?" Emma asked. Noah's expression darkened slightly. "Because I know Ryan. He's predictable when he thinks he's winning." Emma understood then. This falling out between Noah and Ryan, it wasn't random. Noah had seen this side of Ryan before, maybe been burned by it. "Why are you helping me?" Emma asked. "Because someone should have stopped him years ago," Noah said quietly. And because what he did to you at that party in front of all those people, that wasn't just cruel, Emma. That was evil. And I don't let evil win if I can help it. For the first time since Ryan had destroyed her in front of everyone, Emma smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was something colder, something determined. Let them think she was broken. Let them believe they'd won. The revenge they never saw coming was already beginning. What if the trap you walked into became the trap you set? What happens when the hunter realizes they've become the hunted? Emma was released from the hospital 3 days later. She moved slowly, carefully, letting everyone see exactly what they expected. A broken woman, barely holding herself together. Sarah drove her home, and Emma made sure to cry in the car, to look defeated, to seem like someone who'd given up. The apartment she'd shared with Ryan felt empty and cold. Half his things were already gone. His clothes, his laptop, the photos they'd hung together. All of it removed like he'd been planning his exit for weeks. Because he had been. Emma sat on the couch and waited. Noah had been right. Ryan called that same evening. His voice on the phone was different from the cruel stranger at the party. Now he sounded concerned, almost gentle. Emma, I know you probably don't want to talk to me, Ryan said, but we need to discuss some things. The baby, finances, the apartment. Can we meet? Emma let her voice shake when she answered, I don't know, Ryan. You really hurt me. I know, he said smoothly. I handled everything wrong. I was scared and I panicked. But we're going to be parents, Em. We need to figure this out like adults. The nickname made her stomach turn. He used to call her M when things were good, when he was being sweet. Now it felt like manipulation, like he was putting on a mask. Okay, Emma whispered. We can meet. They agreed on a coffee shop near her apartment in 2 days. Ryan sounded relieved when he hung up, like everything was going according to his plan. It was. Just not his plan anymore. Emma immediately called Noah. He took the bait, she reported. Good, Noah said. I've already filed the legal holds. Everything is frozen as of this morning. Ryan, Derek, and Chloe don't know yet. The audit flagged 17 separate suspicious transactions going back 8 months. Emma, they've been doing this since before you got pregnant. Emma felt sick. 8 months. They've been planning this before Lucas even existed, before Ryan proposed, before any of it. There's more, Noah continued. I pulled security footage from your apartment building Derek visited 6 times in the last 2 months. Always when Ryan wasn't home. Always carrying document folders. Emma remembered those visits Derek had said he was dropping off wedding planning materials. Emma had been so tired from pregnancy, so trusting. She'd signed papers he put in front of her without reading them carefully. He'd made jokes, kept her laughing, distracted her while she signed away her inheritance. Can we use that? Emma asked. Already compiling it, Noah assured her. Meet with Ryan, play your part. I'll have someone recording nearby with your permission. We need him to say something incriminating on record. The next 2 days Emma prepared. She practiced looking sad and tired in the mirror. She rehearsed her lines. She let Sarah post worried messages about her on social media. Let people think she was falling apart. Dr. Brooks called to check on her. How are you really doing? The doctor asked. Emma surprised herself by telling the truth. I'm angry, but I'm using it. Good, Dr. Brooks said firmly. Anger can be fuel if you direct it right. Just don't let it consume you. I won't, Emma promised. I'm building something better. When the day came to meet, Ryan and Emma dressed carefully, a simple sweater, minimal makeup. She looked exhausted and defeated. She looked exactly like what Ryan expected to see. The coffee shop was quiet. Ryan was already there, sitting in a corner booth. He stood when she entered, and for a moment his mask slipped. She saw something cold in his eyes, something calculating. Then he smiled, and the mask was back in place. "Emma, thank you for coming," he said. She sat down slowly, one hand on her belly. Noah's contact was at a table nearby, pretending to work on a laptop, recording everything. "What do you want, Ryan?" Emma asked quietly. "I want to make things right," Ryan said. "I know the breakup was harsh, but we can still be civil. We can co-parent. We can handle the financial stuff without lawyers and drama." There it was, the setup. He wanted her to handle everything quietly. No lawyers, no drama, no one looking too closely at where her money had gone. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore," Emma said, letting her voice break. Ryan reached across the table like he was going to take her hand. "I know I messed up, but think about Lucas. He deserves parents who can work together. And honestly, Em, you're going to need help. A baby is expensive. You'll need support." The threat was subtle but clear. He was reminding her that she'd need money, money he'd helped steal. "I just want what's fair," Emma whispered. "Of course," Ryan said smoothly. "Actually, I have some papers in my car. Just simple stuff. Custody arrangements, financial agreements. Nothing scary, just so we're both protected." He wanted her to sign more documents right here, right now, before she could think or get advice. Emma felt Lucas kick hard, like even her unborn son knew this man was dangerous. "Can I think about it?" Emma asked. "This is all so overwhelming." Ryan smiled, tightened barely. "Sure, of course, but Emma, the sooner we settle things, the better. For everyone." Emma nodded, looking down at her hands. "I'll call you in a few days." She could see Ryan's frustration. He'd expected her to be more broken, more desperate, more willing to sign anything just to have peace. But Emma stood up slowly. "I need to go. I have a doctor's appointment." Ryan watched her leave, his mask slipping again, revealing the cold calculation underneath. Emma walked out of the coffee shop, climbed into Sarah's waiting car, and let out a breath she'd been holding. "Did you get it?" she asked Noah over the phone. "Every word," Noah confirmed. "He just tried to coerce a pregnant woman into signing legal documents without representation. That plus everything else we have, Emma, we've got him."